All right, let's put the pedal to the metal because today we're diving headfirst into the Upland Racing Series with a mid-season look at the absolutely wild Wonderland 2025 Championship. The action has been totally nonstop, and believe me, the leaderboard is on fire. So you might be asking, what are they all fighting for? Well, look at that number. That is the total prize pool on the line for this championship, all paid out in UPX. We're talking legacy, we're talking bragging rights, and yeah, we're talking about a whole lot of value. Now, for anybody who's new to the scene, the Upland Racing Series is, simply put, the top of the mountain. It's the premier league. This is where the absolute best drivers go wheel to wheel all season long, battling for points, for prestige, and of course, for a piece of that massive prize pool we just saw. So here's the game plan for this explainer. We're going to kick things off with a look at the Wonderland 2025 season. Then we'll get to know the key championship contenders. After that, we'll break down how a race actually works, see who's really racing for the riches, and then we'll look ahead to the final lap. Okay, let's get right to the good stuff. The drivers. The ones who are really defining this season. These are the names you absolutely need to know. Now check this out. This is where things get really interesting. Right at the top, you've got City Pigeon holding strong with 136 points. But look at the chaos just below. Batistu is creeping up one spot. But the real story here? Cruiserito, rocketing up 6 places to land in 4th, tied with Quai 18, who also made a nice little 2-spot jump. The fight for that podium is getting intense. So you gotta ask, what makes the person in first place so special? Let's shine a big old spotlight on our current leader, City Pigeon. The numbers here, they kind of speak for themselves, don't they? 3 wins in the 4 races so far this season. I mean, that is just incredible. That kind of performance has built up a solid 136-point lead. City Pigeon hasn't just been good, they've been a totally dominant and consistent force, which makes them the one driver everyone else is aiming for. But hey, every great champion needs a great challenger, right? And this is where the story of the season gets really, really exciting. We have to talk about the challenger on the rise, Cruiserito. You know, a meteoric rise is really the only way to describe what's happening here. Seriously, just a few races ago, Cruiserito wasn't even part of this top-tier conversation. Whether it's a new car setup that's finally working or just a massive surge of confidence, their performance lately has completely shaken up this championship fight. And this number right here? This says it all. A jump of 6 positions up the leaderboard at this stage of the game is absolutely massive. Cruiserito has clawed their way from 10th place all the way into the fight for 4th, putting the entire grid on notice. So what we've got brewing is a classic showdown. On one side, you have City Pigeon, the dominant leader, just racking up consistent wins. And on the other, you've got Cruiserito, the aggressive climber, making these huge jumps up the ranks. It's the established target versus the ultimate dark horse. And that right there is what makes the rest of the season a must-watch. So how did these drivers actually earn those points and make these insane climbs? Let's break down the anatomy of a race weekend, from the very first qualifying lap all the way to that final checkered flag. Yeah, a race weekend isn't just one single race. No way. It's this grueling, multi-stage competition. Drivers have to prove their speed and their skill over and over again to grab those precious points and, of course, a piece of that week's prize money. It all breaks down into 3 super high-pressure stages. First up is qualifying. This is all about pure, raw speed. Just you and the track, trying to set the absolute fastest lap time possible. Then, the top drivers move on to the semifinals. Now it's about racecraft. They're split into heats, going wheel to wheel. And finally, you get the final heat. The best of the best from the semis, one last race to decide who takes the top spot. This is where legends are made. Of course, it's not all about the points and glory. I mean, prestige is great, but let's be real, that prize money is a huge motivator. So let's take a look at who is really racing for the riches this season. And this chart really lays it all out. Strong performances literally pay off. City Pigeon isn't just leading in points. They're also at the top of the earnings chart with an incredible 453,829 UPX so far. Crawley 27 is sitting pretty in second with over 385,000, but you can really see that clear financial reward that comes with dominating that top step of the podium. So, where's all that cash coming from? Well, that massive 7.2 million UPX purse is actually broken down into a few different pots. The weekly Upland Series purse makes up the bulk of it. Then you have the sponsor series purse adding a nice chunk. But that biggest slice, that's the one everyone really wants. That's the huge season championship purse waiting at the very end. Which brings us perfectly to the home stretch, the final leg of this absolutely epic season. Let's take a look at what's just around the corner on the road to glory. Okay, you're going to want to mark your calendars for these two dates. On January 9th, we have the final qualifying race at the legendary Interlagos circuit. That's the last chance to score those regular season points. And then, it all comes down to January 16th, the Wonderland Finals at Tokyo Speedway. That is where the 2025 champion will be crowned. So let's recap the key takeaways here. Number 1, City Pigeon is the dominant force, the one to beat. Number 2, keep your eyes peeled for challengers like Cruiserito, who are making these massive comebacks. Number 3, remember, there are still millions of UPX up for grabs. And finally, it all boils down to that one day, the Wonderland Finals on January 16th. And that just leaves us with the ultimate question as we head into these final high-stakes races. Will the dominant leader hold on, or will a dark horse challenger rise to the occasion and shock everyone? Who really has what it takes to be crowned the Wonderland 2025 champion? We're all going to find out very, very soon.